Greetings and welcome to this video. It's a little different than some of my other ones, and just wanted to let you know that this one is about a product called SimSolid. And I am Jeff. I'm a practicing professional engineer, and uh, I have used this product for a number of structural analysis of different machines and so on in an industrial setting. And I am receiving some compensation for this. But the truth is, I asked SimSolid if I could do these videos. It wasn't the other way around. It's because I really do like this product. So I want to start and show you this cart that I made. Uh, and one of the things I want to really focus on is these connections, whether it's the welds or these cap screws or whatever. Now notice these welds won't actually show up in the SimSolid. You can put them in yourself if you want to. I prefer to use the default connections. It's a little bit more conservative, but that's okay. So if you'll notice, there's welds on this handle here as well. In a future video, I want to actually create spot welds here through the SimSolid product, but I don't have that one up yet. Okay, so note that we have a number of pieces. So we've got the main weldment here. So these are all the parts of the weldment. And then here we've got these casters. I brought these in from McMaster Carr. They caused a little bit of a minor issue because they were done by somebody else. They don't actually have wheels that rotate. And so that was an issue later. So watch out for that, and that applies to any of these kind of analysis packages. Then I put the washers, the bolts, the nuts, and the cap screws all together in folders, and we got patterns and so on. So this should be a fairly straightforward, fairly simple thing to analyze. So here we are back at SimSolid. Now, SolidWorks and SimSolid go hand in hand. It brings the parts in without any issues that I've ever seen. And I haven't just used it with SolidWorks. I've used SimSolid with some other types of files as well. So it does a real good job bringing that in. So I want to show you here basically what the workflow is, but let's start off with what you can do with this. You can do a variety of different analyses. You've got different structural, different modal, dynamic, thermal analyses. Now, the workflow isn't bad at all. If you go from top down, it goes pretty well. So of course, set your units, set your default material. Now that's just your default material. You can assign that to most of the parts, and then you can go to each individual part and assign a different material. So okay, I have to go down into the assembly. Of course, here we go. Okay, so here's my circular pattern 2 right here. Apply a particular material. Right here are all the different things, commands that you can usually do that apply to the specific part of the workflow you're doing. These ones up here are mostly general and visual of what you're doing. This is where you're going to find all the main commands of where you're clicking over here. I'm doing the apply material here, so those things aren't going to change at this point in time. So we'll go here. Okay, let's go to just rubber. I'll just click on rubber for these things, hit close, and it will apply rubber to that. Then click up there, and we're going to go with rubber on that one as well. Just take the default. Um, Obviously, change things as you need to, uh, but I'm just trying to get through this quickly. So when you come into the assembly, you can just go through each one of these if you want to. These are all the different cap screws, and usually it does just a great job of bringing the assembly in. Go through the assembly if you want to change any of the materials. Showed you how to do that. And then next is the connections. I'm going to go more into connections in the next video, but this is the bread and butter. Okay, this actually takes a long time, but it's worth it. So you want to go through each of these connections. It breaks it down into fastener connections as well as regular connections. So fasteners specifically focus on, as you can see right here, if you just want to zoom into it, right click, go to zoom in, and this looks like it's a bond somehow between the washer and the nut. Okay, so it recognizes what's a fastener and what's not. So regular connections. See, now you've got this hem of the highlighted part here, which is uh, the tray of this cart, the floor, if you will, and this rail right here, the structural member right there. So that's a regular connection. It's not defined by being a a fastener. All right, and that's how this SimSolid works. It doesn't break it down into finite elements. It does it using these kinds of connection assignments. Okay, so from there, you want to make constraints. Now, I'm going to click up here. Notice how things change. So if I click here, my units, click here, uh, my design study settings can change, workflow, of course, there. Then the assembly, you come up with these, connections, you come up with these. And so now back to my workflow, I need to tell it what kind of analysis it's going to be. So I go to analysis. I could go over here too, but structural, and I've got linear and nonlinear. Just for the sake of simplicity, we'll go with we'll go with linear. Go to structural one, and then from here, you've got constraints right up here. So that's immovable or sliding or hinge. So we're going to go with a hinge here and here. So you have to apply the hinge one at a time. And then here we go. Apply. There we go. Close. And then I'm going to have a slider on these two locations on the base here. Okay. You might say, well, isn't that going to be fixed? And the answer is um, yeah, this is probably going to be fixed, but I cannot figure out a way to make this hinge also slide at the same time. So it's going to have the same effect as this hinge being like the roller and this being the pin or whatever it is, but it was challenging to make it that way. So click out of that zoom if you don't want to zoom right into everything. Okay, so those are my constraints. I'm going to put a load, very basic here. Force right there. I'm going to call it negative 1,000 pounds. Make sure you look at your coordinate system there. Okay, and there, just to let you know, there are a lot of settings. I haven't even explored all of them, and there's plenty of things to do. Also, the help has been pretty good, whether it's online or by quick email or something like that. Yeah, so it's been the support's been pretty dang good. So I've got all that stuff up and I'm ready to go, and I'm going to hit this. Uh-oh, it's got three disconnected groups of parts. I knew this was going to happen. This is what I said about bringing things in at McMaster car. So I'm going to hit no for now just to see what happens. And um, the way, for whatever reason, McMaster car did it, these two just don't connect up to everything else. So I'm going to hear the different ones. I'm going to delete, suppress that one, and hit close. All right, now I'm going to run it again. And here's the progress bar down here. And again, hopefully it's going to only take a couple of minutes or maybe less than that. This is the initial setup to begin with, so it's going to be might take a little bit longer than most others. Now, again, this is linear, so the non-linear is going to take longer depending on what you do with it. Okay, so here we are. It's doing this evaluating response on connections, and then just pops up this result thing. Now, this probably took on the order of 7 minutes, which is a lot longer than it usually takes. But I believe it's because my computer's on the slow side, and I'm also doing screen, recording on this. So uh, hopefully you won't have to be doing the same thing for yours. All right, so when I do results, I look at displacement first, not because it's what I'm most interested in, but it's because um, it gives you an idea of what you expect to have happen. So if you'll notice, that distributed weight is going to make a big dip in here, and you actually see that it's running into these parts here. Obviously, this is way overblown. I've got this set here, deformed shape. Okay, it's 5 times the deformed factor, so let's go break it back down to 1. And so this is what it would actually expect to deform, and that kind of makes sense. It's kind of thin steel and all that. Um, so I look to see if anything else is weird, like if anything else is blowing out of proportion. And no, everything else is pretty dang stiff except the floor of this cart. So now I'm going to go to von Mises stress, and I'm going to actually drop over to signed von Mises stress. I like this, and look up here, and you can see that you can set the maximum and minimum. So I'm going to just go to 10,000 psi and negative 10,000 psi. There we go. So now you can see that there's a definite difference between what's going on the floor and what's going on up here. This is pretty low load here. Now, going down to these supports, you're going to see a little bit more. It looks like I've got everything within very reasonable stresses, and you can set this to whatever you want to. So red doesn't necessarily mean bad. So there's that. So from there, you got the results, and then from here you iterate. Okay, this is the SimSolid workflow, at least for a structural member. And again, you're going to have to iterate. You're going to have to figure out what makes sense, whatever, based on good sound engineering judgment. Now, the advantages here is that it uses these connections rather than breaking every single thing down into finite element. You have to take a lot of care to look at those connections and look at all the constraints and make sure they're right. And so it's not really a disadvantage compared to anybody else. It's what you got to do. You got to be careful with it. Now, it certainly speeds things up. I think it's got great advantages in terms of being able to iterate quickly. And the learning curve isn't that bad. These menu structures look a lot different than, say, SolidWorks or whatever, and maybe they could use a little bit of color and this and that. But getting to that point where you can get something that looks somewhat good is not too bad. However, just like any of these other ones, getting something that's really, really close to what you truly expect to have happen, that might be another story. Just make sure that you are, again, using good sound judgment and so on. So one disadvantage, and I think it goes for a lot of them, is that this can do all sorts of stuff, but when you see something like sliding or the connection means it's initially when I saw bonded, well, what does that mean? Well, I've got these two things. They're not bonded. I didn't put glue on them. I didn't weld them. That's not what it means. So we'll go more into that in the next time around. But the descriptions are, they have to keep them short and concise, but they're not as well explained as I would kind of like. And you just got to get used to it and understand what's going on. Get into the documentation, get into the examples and the help. Okay, so that is SimSolid in a nutshell, and I would recommend if you really want to get used to it, get the free trial and try it out, see if it works, see if it has good accuracy and does what you expect it to do. All right, thank you very much. I hope this helped, and engineer well.